Welcome to my third ever Wild Watches video. Today I will be talking about the movies I watched in the month of March. I will go over them individually, starting now. The first movie I watched was Zombies. I watched this twice, actually. It's a great fun time from the asylum. There's a lot of action, a lot of character development and growth, and the effects, while being a mixed bag, are still appreciated by me because they put in effort. That is pretty much what this whole movie is. The second movie I watched was Leprechaun. I had to watch this, I'm sorry. I had to for my series ranking video for St. Patrick's Day. It is still my second favorite Leprechaun movie. The lines are just so awesome. Warwick Davis totally owns the role of the Leprechaun. The third movie I watched was Die Hard. Die Hard is probably the best 80s action movie that is about a rogue cop trying to take down a slew of baddies. Die Hard is just a well thought out, well acted, well executed, and just plain awesome 80s action movie. The fourth movie I watched was Olympus Has Fallen. Speaking of Die Hard, this is like Die Hard of the 2010 era. It is definitely one of my favorite action movies of this decade. It's like the perfect 90s action movie, filled with explosions, bloodshed, swearing, bullets flying left and right, and Gerard Butler channeling his best John McClane and succeeding. The fifth movie I watched was Leprechaun 2. Charm is the thing that really stands out in this movie for me. It's got great effects. Warwick Davis solidifies himself as a leprechaun in this movie. The acting's passable. It is definitely my third favorite Leprechaun movie in the franchise. So far, that is. The sixth movie I watched was The Toxic Avenger. I watched this with Eric Harrison on his Drunken Terry. Fun to watch, especially when you're talking with a whole bunch of people. It's just a great, cheesy, dumb Troma movie. It really solidified what Troma is, and their mascot Toxie is definitely a highlight of the superhero genre. He may not be as well known as Batman or Superman, but this movie he's in is far superior to any Batman vs. Superman 2016 movie, based on what I've heard. The seventh movie I watched was with Eric Harrison as well, but this one was not on the Drunken Terry. Abominable. This movie is great. It has suspense, a great musical score, a lot of practical effects. Actually, all practical effects. The gore and kills are amazing. This is one pissed off Yeti. My bad. Abominable. And I've got to compliment again on Layla Griffin's score. It is just perfect for this movie. The eighth movie I watched is the final movie I watched with Eric Harrison that was not on the Drunken Terry either. The Evil Dead. I talked about this in my first Wild Watches movies I watched in January, so what do I have to say about it now? It is definitely my favorite 80s movie all around. It's timeless, not only in appearance, but in story as well. The ninth movie I watched was Slumber Party Massacre. I watched this as a B-Raiders episode with Christopher Lynn on the Weirddening. He's a great guy. You should definitely check out our videos on Slumber Party Massacre 1, 2, and 3, because we did a great job on all of them in my opinion. We put up with a lot of shit, you know. The 10th movie I watched was Die Hard 2. This is only half as good as the first one. It definitely needed a different story. It is basically wash, rinse, and repeat of the first movie. The action's there, the grand effects are there. The 11th thing I watched was actually a TV show. Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Oh my fucking god. Best TV show around, in my opinion. I've seen some of The Walking Dead. I love it. Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Brilliant. I don't know which is better, The Walking Dead or Ash vs. the Evil Dead. The 12th movie I watched was Leprechaun 3. This movie had balls made of flying brass. This is where they upped their game entirely, and had the budget to get away with a lot more than expected. It is a great movie, no doubt. And Brian Trenchard Smith directed Leprechaun 3 and 4, which are very good movies for what they are. The 13th movie I watched was Mother of Tears. This is the last Suspiria movie I needed to watch, and it's about as good as Inferno. I am not the biggest fan of Inferno. Suspiria is definitely a classic. If I were to pit Inferno against Mother of Tears, Inferno would definitely win, but Mother of Tears is way more entertaining. And graphic, my god. The 14th movie I watched was John Wick. Fuck, this movie is awesome! I am so glad they are making a John Wick Chapter 2. This is the pure essence of calm action. You can have people's brains being blown out, throats being slashed with small knives, big knives, people's freaking legs broken, arms broken, stabbings, but it's done with such elegance that it's actually quite appealing. I'm just a really sick bastard, I know. The 15th movie I watched was Tremors 5, Bloodlines. The more I watch it, the more I love it. This time I actually watched the deleted scenes. Jamie Kennedy is fucking hilarious. The deleted scenes were funnier than the entire movie, and the scene where the graboid was underwater would have been amazing. I seriously wish they kept that in the movie and just added the effects. Give them the extra budget. It would have been one of the first times we actually got to see a graboid in the water. Other than that water tower scene in the first movie, as well as that shrimp thing in Tremors, the TV series. The 16th movie I watched was London Has Fallen. The first movie I watched in the month of March. That was a theatrical experience. And I don't want to spoil how I think of it compared to the first just yet, because I'm going to be reviewing them soon. But it's a good movie. It's actually really good. A lot more fast-paced than the first. It's a lot more upbeat and action-packed, and I don't really want to spoil anything else about how I think about this movie. The 17th movie I watched was Leprechaun 4 in Space. There is not a trace of rhyming to be found in this movie by Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun. But I still had fun with it. The effects, the characters, they're awesome. You don't need to have Warwick Davis to make a good Leprechaun. Yeah, you fucking do. What am I talking about? The 18th movie I watched was Die Hard with a Vengeance. This is my first time seeing it. I've seen Die Hard 4 times and Die Hard 2 twice, so this was like, oh well, I gotta be kind of generous because it's pretty famous as being one of the better Die Hard movies. So when I watched it, I have to agree. It's a lot better than Part 2, but not as good as Part 1. Although what Die Hard movie is. The 19th movie I watched was Slumber Party Massacre 2. Fuck this movie. Okay, it's not that bad, but it's a mindfuck movie. You think she's dreaming? Well, guess what? She is. Predictable, cliche, the killer. My god, what the fuck was that? But it's still entertaining. I watched this with the B-raters as well. A lot of fun. More fun than this movie. The 20th movie I watched was Jurassic Attack. I bought this as titled Rise of the Dinosaurs, and I was like, that is not its true title. So I found out they had released it for like $4 under the title Jurassic Attack, so I had to pick it up, even though the DVD says Rise of the Dinosaurs. Really? Couldn't change the DVD. And in the movie it says Rise of the Dinosaurs. It may trick some people, but it's the same movie. The 21st movie I watched was Leprechaun in the Hood. Now, before I go any further, I have a confession to make. In the month of March, I didn't watch Leprechaun Back to the Hood or Leprechaun Origins. I was running short on time. I had seen them before. I based it off of memory and what I originally thought of the series. Leprechaun in the Hood, it's still fun. It has a charm to it, at least. There's lots of gore. The Leprechaun is once again played by Warwick Davis, and he does an awesome job. But it's definitely one of the weaker Leprechaun movies. Not the weakest, but pretty bad. The 22nd movie I watched was Demons 2. I have seen Demons probably 5 or 6 times by now, and I've only seen Demons 2 once, so I was like, I gotta catch up on this because I gotta review them for Scare Show 3. So lo and behold, Demons 2 magically appeared on my TV screen. I don't know how. I must have put the disc in or something when I wasn't really paying attention. Ooh. It is not as good as the first, but it is still wicked fun. The 23rd movie I watched was House by the Cemetery. This is the concluding chapter to Lucio Fulci's Gates of Hell trilogy, and I've got to say it's a lot different than City of the Living Dead and The Beyond, but it has its own merits. The effects are wickedly gruesome. The killer, he's pretty menacing too. It kind of reminds me of the Thing from Insidious Chapter 3. Oh yeah, what did I call him? Gasper? Get it? Casper? Gasping? He's gasping for air? Oh, you're laughing. The 24th movie I watched was Killer Crocodile. I love this movie. It is so so cheesy, so awesome. I don't know what it would be like without it. Probably not a lot different. This is definitely a Jaws ripoff, but it's one of those movies that you can watch over and over again and likely not get that bored by it. The 25th movie I watched was Deep Blood. It did a lot of the same things Cruel Jaws did, and I fucking hate Cruel Jaws, but I had a lot more positive things I could say about it than I could say about Cruel Jaws. I have wanted to see this movie for a very long time. And I finally got to, and it isn't half bad. The 26th movie I watched, which was on YouTube, was Terror Birds, from the director of Jurassic City, which I loved, and I really love Terror Birds. My review for it will be up in the future. It's a blast to watch. Likeable characters, very fast pace, and really good effects. The 27th movie I watched was Extraterrestrial. E.T. is not happy. This movie, it's epic. It's a low-budget movie, but it is fucking epic. There's so much going on. I love it. The ending sucks, but I love this movie. The 28th movie I watched, which was also with the B-raters, was Slumber Party Massacre 3. This was probably my favorite Slumber Party Massacre movie. It's grounded, it's intense near the last 15-20 minutes. It is also very vicious around that time. It is just a lot more well-made than the other two, even though it's a direct-to-video sleazefest. The 29th movie I watched was Killer Crocodile 2. You know what? I don't really want to say anything about this movie, because I don't want to spoil my thoughts on it. Let me just say it was a bigger movie than the first one, even though it was shot back-to-back with the first one. The 30th movie I watched was CLOWNHOUSE, which I reviewed April 1st, for April Fool's Day. This was a creepy movie, I'm not gonna lie. Victor Salva or Salvia or whatever, no matter what he did in life, his films know how to make you fear the movie itself. For the characters, for everything going on around them, he does a great job. He did an equally good job in Jeepers Creepers. The 31st movie I watched was Zombie 4, After Death, also known as After Death, an unofficial sequel to Zombie 3. It's a lot of fun. Cheesy, but a lot of fun. The characters, the ninja-like zombies, the gore, the atmosphere, it just really works. It's still a bad movie, don't let me get you wrong, but it is a hell of a lot of fun to watch. The 32nd movie I watched was Squirm. But not just any version of Squirm, but the version from Mystery Science Theater 3000. And I didn't watch it alone. My dad and my mom watched it and loved it. They were laughing, I was laughing, it was a great time. The 33rd movie I watched was Subspecies. The night has veins, and so does this badass movie. Well, I shouldn't say badass. This class-ass movie. I love Subspecies. It's a great love story. It is very low budget, but they use the budget to its capacity and work with every scene they can to try to turn out the best product that they can. That's all you can really ask for this kind of movie. The 34th movie I watched was Bloodstone, Subspecies 2. This is probably my favorite of the Subspecies movies. It is a close tie between the first, second, and third, but this one is a lot more well-made than the first. Tons of ghoulish entertainment, gore, and vampirism. The 35th movie I watched was Bloodlust, Subspecies 3. This was shot back-to-back with Subspecies 2. It is a fitting end to the original trilogy that they couldn't leave well enough alone. The 36th movie I watched was Subspecies 4, Bloodstorm. While this is a great movie, fuck the beginning and fuck the end. Fuck the beginning because I don't want to spoil anything. And then the end is a lot less cool than the way the third movie ended. The 37th movie I watched was Vampire Journals, a spin-off of Subspecies. Very good. It is a deep, thoughtful love letter to the Subspecies movies and fans of vampires. It's seductive, romantic, and dark. The 38th and final movie I watched was The Shark Hunter from 1979. This movie is awesome. Sleazy, cheesy, greasy, but awesome. And that is all I can really say about that. Thank you all for watching. Tune in next time. Tune in next month when I talk about the movies I watched in the month of April. And as always, I am Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Movie Reviews. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below and to leave comments and subscribe.